All right, folks, I've seen Stephen King's The Long Walk. This was one of the more interesting movies of the year for me, had a lot of potential. We're going to talk about it. Did this break me? Let's discuss.
I'm Ray Garrity. You can call me Ray.
Prima Breeze.
Hank Olson's the name. Walking's my game.
So in this dystopian future, America has become a police state. 100 boys are selected to enter an annual contest where the winner will basically be awarded whatever he wants for the rest of his life. The game is simple. Maintain a certain speed while walking without stopping, or else you will get shot. And so right then and there, I said, this premise is awesome. And I looked into kind of the tone of Stephen King's original story. This is one of his first stories, by the way, so the fact that this hasn't been made into a movie is fascinating, but at the same time, you're like, I get it. It feels like a tough one to do. Does it become repetitive after the first few deaths? Are these characters going to have the arcs necessary to take us on a journey? We're literally on a journey, a long journey in this movie, but at the same time, I want to go on an emotional journey. I want to get to know these guys, get to love them, because inevitably, one by one, well, it's not good.
This is bad. This is very bad.
So I want to start with this dystopian world that this movie sets up. Francis Lawrence is our director. Francis Lawrence directed some of the Hunger Games movies, as well as a couple of other like post-apocalyptic type films, including I Am Legend. And so I thought it was the right pairing. I've never looked at Lawrence as a great director. I may rethink that after watching this movie because he handles it so well, but he's also working with a script written by J.T. Molnar. J.T. Molnar wrote and directed Strange Darling last year. So this guy is on a roll. David Johnson is on a roll. Alien Romulus last year, and now giving, and I'll spoil it right here, the best performance in The Long Walk. I'm not saying he's head and shoulders above everyone else. I would say most of them, but he is, I mean, at every single emotional note you need his character to hit in this film, he hits it, knocks it out of the park. But Cooper Hoffman is right there. Philip Seymour Hoffman, one of my all-time favorite actors. Cooper is his son, has had some great roles as of late. I would say this is one of his more important roles because he's having to find a lot internally to convey to the audience all throughout this film. Not only the emotional trauma they're experiencing by watching so many of these guys that they learn to grow with and love throughout this long journey, but the physical pain is on display. And the further we get into the film, obviously the more tired they get, because the more tired anyone would get walking this long, this far, hundreds of miles. Regardless of the circumstances, they have to keep walking because if you stop, basically, well, you get a couple of warnings. So if you heed those warnings, great. But if you're unable to keep walking, you can't get back up, well, you get shot.
You what?
So those two performances, amazing. But the supporting cast in general, characters like Arthur and Hank, someone like a Charlie Plummer, who's a really good actor. I felt Gary was never able to reach the heights they were seeming to set up in the beginning. And some of these supporting characters, it does feel that way. They're either shortchanging us on the resolve. I mean, ultimately, we know what's going to happen to most of these characters. We just don't know who is going to survive, how everyone or some people make it out alive. I felt certain characters were set up to play a more pivotal role in the journey than they actually played. Charlie Plummer's character is one of those, even though, again, I did enjoy that kind of antagonist role. But the ultimate antagonist here is Mark Hamill's Major, who's just, standing at the top of the tank, riding along, screaming at our boys the entire time. And it feels like he has somewhat of a positive outlook because he's telling the boys they're doing a great job. When they hit that first 100 miles, it's like, great job, boys. Not many folks make it this far because they're shot in the head before they get here. And so it's just this crazy character that Hamill is playing, and he's going to do a good job. I feel like this film never quite captures what they need to with him. I needed more depth in the moment, spending more than a minute with him during this walk. You get reasons why you should hate him, but I wanted to hate him even more during this long walk. A lot of the stuff that you get about Hamill's character comes prior or in flashback form, but I felt as if I was shortchanged just a little bit from feeling that rage towards him that I need to, even though you do feel that way. because of what these boys are going through. And now, this is a lottery system. These boys are chosen. At the same time, the world that they live in, they are encouraged to do this. They are excited to do this. They have opportunities to pull out. And we spend a little bit of time with Hoffman's character early on in this film, and I thought Judy Greer playing his mother was only in the movie about 5 to 10 minutes, but my God, some of the best scenes in the entire film. I was nervous it was going to start feeling repetitive because we're hitting these milestones. Miles.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
All throughout. And, you know, what more could they talk about? What more could they do? We're just walking with these guys for the entire runtime of this film. And so am I going to feel bored while watching this? And is that brutality, that violence, very R-rated across the board? So if you don't like that kind of thing, you don't want to see that gruesomeness and the ins and outs of all of the bad things that happen to these kids. I mean, that's what's happening. It's kids that are going through this. And so if you don't want to see that, don't watch this movie. But if you're worried about being bored because this plot feels kind of recycled as we go and we get to the halfway point, what more could they do? I never felt that. I was invested, on the edge of my seat. There's actually a surprising little injection of humor during this movie as well, because at a point, you know what's going to happen. And so the banter between these guys, the ones that do and do not get along, the ones that poke each other, and David Johnson just trying to keep the spirit alive throughout, it made for some surprisingly poignant moments that I, again, wasn't expecting. I've never read King's original story, but I did look into it, and I knew kind of what I was in for from a tonal perspective, and they never messed that up throughout the film. It's tonally consistent. The pacing is surprisingly great, and I was just on the edge of my seat from start to finish. Speaking of Lawrence, in the vein of The Hunger Games, Squid Game, this movie is bleak. It's not going to make you feel good. You're supposed to gravitate towards the characters and their arcs as they grow to learn, accept, and embrace. And you feel that every literal step of the way. But it's not just, oh, my feet are sore, I'm getting tired. It's, sprained ankles, broken bones. What happens when a guy has to poop? I don't like the word poop. Well, if you don't like that word, you shouldn't watch The Long Walk.
No. He's got a point.
It is a bit flawed within its delivery and how it goes about operating certain ways, and I don't know how everyone's going to feel about the ending. I mean, the ending is going to be sad, that's obvious, but the actual way that it all goes to credits, that said, I was cool with it, I was emotional during it, and this film just brought every part of me out. The anger, the fear, the sadness, the laughter. That's what you want while watching a movie. David Johnson, my God, this man is a star. And I could say the same about Cooper Hoffman. Some of the ideas that they're throwing out there as characters could have been articulated just a bit better. But ultimately, I was so satisfied with that approach. Before I give you my score, first of all, I can't believe I wasn't super familiar with this Stephen King story before this movie. And so that's amazing. I walked out of this, very sad. But at the same time, I had a smile on my face because I'm like, I just watched something so profoundly emotional, like written in the exact way to where it knew how to move me specifically. So I need your thoughts down below on The Long Walk. Are you excited for this? Are you seeing this opening weekend? You should. And please leave your comments down below. If you want to support this video, man, drop a like, share this to your friends, anyone, really. I appreciate it, man. Really helps this channel. If you want to hit the hype button in the comments, there's a hype button now. So if you want to give me points, I think that helps. I don't actually know. The Long Walk is a grim, often harrowing journey that overcomes potential pitfalls with its stellar ensemble and exquisitely crafted screenplay. Hoffman and Johnson deliver profoundly moving performances among the year's best, set against an enigmatic backdrop that perfectly amplifies the haunting tone of King's original story. What starts as a familiar dystopian sci-fi tale with coming-of-age undertones evolves into something far deeper and more powerful than expected. The Long Walk stands tall as one of the year's finest films. This is one of my favorite movies of 2025 so far. Very hard to replicate this type of experience. And I'm not going to tell you it's going to make you happy, but that's not the point. It's going to tug on your heartstrings. At least I hope it does. Thanks for watching. I think audiences are really going to embrace this. I think you all are going to love this movie. I'll see you soon.